Wait. No mini model?
No mini model.
So what's going to happen to all those people who buy the lowest level phone? Well, for all of those who have been dreaming about the cell phone, the new cell phone that's to be launched, and that's the iPhone, because I have certainly been dreaming about it. We have got Abhik here from the Fiiber team, and he's going to tell you what's new about that phone. Abhik, is there anything new? I mean, going by the reputation of iPhone, we iPhone users are happy if you just launch a new phone. We don't want anything new.
So I don't know about your dreams and how dreamy the new iPhones would be, but at least one thing I can tell you that Apple will be again launching 4 iPhones this year. So last year and the year before, we saw the launch of 4 iPhones, the mini model, the regular model, Pro model and the Pro Max model. This year it's going to be the same, more or less, but the only change here is that there won't be a mini model anymore. They're going to launch a new Max variant.
Wait. No mini model?
No mini model.
So what's going to happen to all those people who buy the lowest level phone?
So that's the interesting part. We will be talking about pricing, but the Max variant, which is going to be coming and replacing the mini model, will be the talk of the town. And that means the iPhone 14 regular, which will be at par with the mini model, will probably be the most affordable one.
Most affordable, but
exactly.
Not as affordable as the mini.
iPhone, as you know, it is not one of the most affordable smartphones in the market. It anyway costs over 60,000. So if that's your budget and you call that affordable, I'm very happy with this kind of estimate.
I make myself feel that's affordable, you know. So
it's definitely not affordable for me, but yeah,
it's all about the mindset. Convince yourself. Anyway, so let's talk about the phone itself.
Yeah.
Tell me, is it going to be more beautiful? The looks? How is it going to be?
So in terms of design, if you have been following Apple products for the last few years, Apple is one of those brands that always plays very safe with its iPhones. So even this year, we are not expecting any big leaps in terms of design, but there's one significant or not so significant change for some people, which is that the Pro models, that is the iPhone 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max, will get a new front panel. What does that mean? So usually if you see an iPhone, it gets that notch. The notch is useful for two things. First, it houses the front Face ID sensor, and it also gets
useful, absolutely useless since Corona. Please continue.
Probably. If you are wearing a mask, then it definitely has some limitations, but yes, it houses the sensors and it houses the selfie camera. This year what Apple is doing is that they are changing the design of this notch. What they're making is this little pill shape which will house these sensors, and there's going to be this tiny hole punch which will house the selfie camera. So in terms of looks, that is something what we're expecting to change, but if it's significant, only users will be able to tell.
Okay, so all I've heard right now is that there's going to be a pill instead of the notch.
Yes.
Not that much of a difference.
Yeah, yes.
So a notch of a difference.
Yes.
That's it. That's
yes.
all you will see. But then I guess, as you just stated, they don't usually change their design very easily. And why should they? It's work for them.
Precisely.
I mean, the users like me have been very comfortable using the same design for years.
And that's why Apple is also able to sense. See, Apple is, no matter what they do, there's always going to be some amount of attention. Whether good or bad, they will get that attention. So Apple will be subjected to some trolling, some kind of fun making on the internet. But again, as Apple says, if you don't have an iPhone, you don't have an
just
iPhone.
A case of sour grapes.
Yes.
You know? That's what they like to portray. But you know, frankly, being an Apple user, I have usually liked Apple over other phones because I have actually used it to shoot videos for my YouTube channel, and I feel the quality and the ease of editing and then converting it into an online video is actually very comfortable for me, whereas I don't think it worked for me when I did it with other Android phones. Okay. Do you think there's going to be any difference as far as performance is concerned now?
So if the one good thing about iPhones that has remained consistent over the years is that performance. No matter Apple, whatever processor that they're using, and they, mind you, they use their own in-house made processors. Like other Android brands, they have some tie-ups. Apple makes their own processors, so that way iPhones are always consistent. So that we're also expecting the same with this year's iPhone, whether it's iPhone 14 or iPhone 14 Pro models. But one very interesting report that has come is that the 14 and the 14 Max variant will come with the same processor that already features on the iPhone 13 lineup, whereas the Pro models will get a new processor. You'll be obviously surprised at why Apple is doing it, but again, we have to see how they basically market this entire thing among to customers.
You give the Pro version, you have to make it better than the others. So I guess sometimes it feels justified, but if you're a user, you feel cheated. So I don't really know how it's a balancing thing.
But to put it simply, it basically means that the iPhones will be consistent. You will get a good performance no matter what. But of course, if your needs are much higher and if you've already using the 13 Pro models and you require a bit more, then 14 Pro is your answer.
Okay, and what about the cameras? Anything different in that? Because that really matters to me, the camera.
So that's again another interesting part, because the Pro models are set to get some upgrades, whereas the 14 model that will be launching as well will get more or less the same features that we see on the 13 model. Obviously, there'll be some tweaks. Apple will be bragging about it in its own ways, but how significantly different it will be, we don't know yet.
One thing is there, Abhik, you've solved a major crisis for me, a major problem, a confusion is sorted.
Yes.
And that is, I was thinking whether to buy the new one or to buy the cheaper old one.
That's the point.
I think if I could only afford the lower versions, the lower models, then I might as well buy the...
That's even if you look at customers who are planning to buy new iPhones, they're not looking for iPhone 14 or 14 Pro. They're actually waiting for the phone to launch so that they can buy the older models for lesser price, including me. So I'm also one of those.
That's what we all do. That's what we all do.
So,
immediately rush to an Apple store and say, भैया इसको वापस ले लो, और वो कहेंगे चार्जर कहाँ है, वो तो घर पे छूट गया.
Charger मिलेगा भी नहीं. If you buy the newer iPhones, you won't get a charger. So if you're buying the new one, old one, or any other iPhone which launched in the past, so no charger in the box.
Yes.
But yeah, since you asked about the cameras, just to clarify for our viewers, it's that the videography might see some changes. Apple's the poster that they have officially created for this event, it's called Far Out. So of course there are a lot of speculation what this poster exactly means. So one speculation is that
it is a Gen Z speak also, Far Out.
Is it?
Far Out, is it? Don't they say that?
I don't know about you. I'm also not in that
really
generation.
Cool. It's Far Out, man. I thought so. I heard it.
It could be one of those lingos you talked about. But then a very sane deduction of this poster would be that Apple is probably changing the zooming capabilities of the newer iPhone. So it means that if you have the Pro models or even the newer models, the zooming might be better. Another advantage could be that your lighting or something to do with space, because Far Out it says, and the background of the poster is all about space. So something with space zoom or space feature, we'll have to see that.
Okay, so keep decoding what Far Out means, and as soon as iPhone is launched, when's the date?
Oh yes, and Apple has already announced its launch date. Interesting thing is that they never mentioned the products that they're launching, but because we have seen multiple iPhone launches in the past, and it is September, so the date is 7th of September. Mark your calendar.
Save the date, and as soon as it is launched, Fiiber team will be giving out the details on their YouTube channel, and we will also try and catch one of them and try and bring you the unboxing. But till then, think about it, dream about it, and also start calculating how much you want to spend, because after all, it's the iPhone.